Welcome to another episode of Coffee and Whiskey with Ivy, where I will try to give you some enlightened views of some boring topics. Number of babies born here drops to a 8-year low. I'm not surprised. I'm even surprised that some people are still having children, especially in expensive Singapore. You know, having children is a lifetime commitment. I am twice married, but I never had children, and it is not because I'm barren, but because I do not want to bring up children and destroy them. Children need to be educated, they need to be paid for, and then you look after them till either they die first or you die first, right? So, how to make people have more children? It's not about a baby bonus and that's it. It is about free education for them, right up to university. It is about free transport for them to go to school. And when they are sick, they should have free health all the way to national service. Help people who love children to have children. Don't just give a baby bonus where they're just looking forward to spend that money and not really bring up their children well. Good governance eroding, says Dr. Tan Cheng Bock. Really? You know, cronyism and nepotism has always been the fundamental feature of a lot of Asian countries. Alright? So it hasn't just started. You know, Tan Cheng Bock says the PAP has changed. They haven't. I believe Tan Cheng Bock has changed because he's 78 years old and he knows his days are numbered. And somebody with the horns will be waiting for all those people who have not been truly honest and good in their lives. So, time for change. All of you out there. What does Heng Swee Keat and Boris Johnson have in common? Their constant reference to the word trust. But Boris Johnson adds another point. He said he wants the people to be his bosses. So, DPM Heng Swee Keat, will you also follow what he is saying, that we will be your bosses? Perhaps you should think about including that into your strategy. Fires in HDB homes are alarming. An opinion page in the Straits Times, a full center spread about it. And then my friend MP Lee Biwa says, while the policy response is being debated, including at the next parliament session, I would advise residents with such concerns to install smoke detectors and purchase fire insurance. Has my country become so stupid that we need to debate this in Parliament? Look, the fires are alarming. We know what's causing the fires. The government and the police and the LTA should just get together and put down the rules and regulations and stop this menace from happening. Since we are on this fabulous topic of PMD fires, the poll question this week is as follows. The PMD problem, whose fault is it? Inconsiderate riders, bad LTA planning, and give us some suggestions. Maybe those clowns in LTA need your good suggestions, so please do help them. Now, the results of last week's poll question. Are we going to have a recession? 81% said yes, 6% said no, 12.5% said don't know. Can the government pull us out of it? No doubt at all, 13%. Not much they can do, 80%. But what do you think? People didn't give us any suggestions. Are you worried? 55% say they are very worried, 25% say a little worried, and 20% said not worried at all. Thank you for your feedback. Elderly abuse cases more than double in 2 years. Some caregivers hurt charges out of stress. I can fully relate to this. I looked after my aging mother for quite a number of years, and she was a pain. She would always complain about the maids non-stop, etc. But because we had a few maids, we could rotate them round and round, so it was not a painful exercise. You know, I can fully understand when people are struggling to make a living, they are struggling to look after their children, and then they are also having to look after their parents. So we must seriously look at how to help these people not suffer from the kind of stress that they end up punching their parents. Do we need an MP to tell us that we should get tough on sex predators in school? And this ex-NUS lecturer gets jailed for molesting 5 boys. I blame the principals and the people in charge. They must know who they employ. When I was president of Netball Singapore, I always asked this question: are you gay? If they say they are, it's not a problem because we believe in diversity. Then I ask them, are you a pedophile? And if they say no, then I said, no problem, I trust you. But if I catch you, death is the best thing for you because I will do more than death to you. Tunneling begins for Circle Line's final stage. You know, many of us think the LTA is quite useless, but this particular group that is tunneling and building our MRT lines are fabulous. Whenever my driver drives me around and I look out and see all these barricades and digging, etc., I think how wonderful these people are building the MRT in a very, very built-up urban situation. It is tough, it is difficult, and they are doing a fabulous job. So 3 cheers to the LTA Chief Executive, Mr. Gian Hun Peng. Cheers to you. Cheers. 2 cars seen racing along CTE during morning rush hour. Video of scooteries riding on woodlands and all that. You know what is the meaning of this? In Hokkien, we say Bo Cheng Hu. That means no government. Where are the police? The police should be in charge of the roads, not LTA. LTA are builders. They are not enforcement people. Thank you for your Ask Ivy questions. I will try to answer some today. Have you ever faced discrimination? How did you deal with it if you have? Sean, of course we all face discrimination. When I was young, because I'm half Indian, half Chinese, and somebody asked me, oh, what race are you? And I say, oh, I'm half Indian, half Chinese. Ding! They come up with the word chap ching. Chap ching means you are a mongrel, you are a mixture of 10 bloods. So my reply to that is, hey, what's in neng ching? Teng lang ka into lang? You know, that means I'm 2 races, Indian and Chinese. Maybe you are a chap ching. Do you know your background? So don't get angry. Logically answer their insult. When you face discrimination, first of all, is it because the guy is joking? Is it because he's just trying to make fun of you in a friendly manner? Don't be too thin-skinned. But if the guy is really discriminating you, then be like me. I'll box him. This is from Chris Edmond, 61-year-old retiree who has written to the ministers and all, but nobody replied to him. So he asked me to send the Prime Minister a message. Dear Mr. Prime Minister, you know, the data protection, and there was a suggestion for ministers, VIPs and elites to have stringent protection, but not the others. I do not agree with that suggestion. I agree with you, Chris Edmond, that everybody should be treated equally. We should not have discrimination of any kind in this country. Thank you, darling. Today's plant is the basil. This is lemon basil. Lemon basil in Malay is called kemangi, and you can use it in Indonesian cooking, Filipino cooking, Lao cooking, Malay cooking. In other words, it is a very much an ASEAN herb. So grow this, you can make it into omelets, etc. It's brilliant. Thank you for watching another episode of Coffee and Whiskey. Remember to subscribe if you haven't done so already. And here's to another great week ahead. Cheers.